All right, guys, I got a little bit of time here to make some videos, so I want to give a little update on the bucket truck. As you can see, it's back in the yard. Let's see where I left off. We had tried the stop leak in it. We were able to test out the upper. The upper was doing pretty good. Nothing seemed abnormally wrong with it. So we decided to spend the money and take it and get the engine repaired, because the stop leak was not working good enough. So the results, it's about $8,990 later, we have the truck back. Did a full engine overhaul with I think one of the works kits. I've got the receipt. I'd have to look through exactly what kit they put in it, but they do show the part number, I believe, and the cost of the parts, and then the labor breakdown. So it was about $4,000 in parts, all said, if I remember correctly. Number one was leaking. That cylinder had been scored up real bad and had definitely gotten real hot. He's not sure what happened first, whether the liner seals went out and then started washing the lubricant off the piston, or if the cylinder started getting scored up and heating enough to actually burn the O-rings to nothing and then let it leak. So sort of, which come first, the chicken or the egg? Did the piston start scoring and generating heat to destroy the seal, or did the seal go and start washing the lubricant off the piston? Could go either way. We did get it back. As you can see, we have done some tree work with the truck. We got probably 3 good days worth of tree work out of it, and then we had another issue which I'll get into here. For the most part, the truck seems to be in pretty good shape. I mean, we went through and visually inspected everything, all the pins, the bushings. It doesn't act like there's any slop in the boom. Check the rotation bolts. Those are key because you don't want the whole thing to just fall off. The upper control joystick, I do wish I would have checked it a little better. That upper joystick, it's pretty finicky. It does not like to do 2 things at once. And it does cut out every once in a while. You'll hold the trigger to move the boom, it'll move a little bit and then it'll just quit moving, so you have to re-grab the trigger on the pistol grip. Other than that, we're in pretty good shape. I'm working my way around it, but so the reason it's here, we had to pull the hydraulic pump off of it, and I will show you why. All right, so this is the culprit, that the reason the truck is down. See, that universal has seen better days. That cross is pretty well wore completely out. It actually broke the yoke, and this is pretty well one of those self-removing drive shafts at that point. So it had to come apart while Dad was up in the bucket, and it just, of course, quit. All the functions came to a halt. The big problem with that was also that it's not just a universal, it took the nose off the pump. So we are down and out for a little bit. I actually do have, we had to go to another city to get the yoke that goes on the PTO. We've got a new cross. Actually, here they are. Got the new cross and a new yoke. As you can see, the old one. And you might be thinking, well, how did you not hear that? And it's actually funny. You can see basically it's on that side, and on that one on the other. And this is my own ignorance, I guess. I've dealt with other hydraulic PTO pumps that don't have a drive shaft. I didn't realize this one had a drive shaft. I should have looked at that better. Dad thought about that too. He should have looked at it more, but so I didn't inspect that drive shaft. The funny thing is, here's the pump. Sheared the nose right off of it. Funny thing is, that thing never squealed. It never really made any abnormal noise. It just literally let go. I think by the time we had gotten it, I think that cross had completely wore out the bearings in the cup, and I'm sure it had to make noise at some time, but I think by the time we got it, as you can see, I think it had actually wedged itself in there. And the way the pump's mounted, there's no relative motion there, so it's not like you're working that universal joint in it, it's just spinning. That universal is just spinning, it's not flexing around, so if you wedge the cross in on one side, it really has no reason not to squeak. I mean, it was working fine. I mean, I'm mechanically inclined enough that if I would have heard it squealing or making noise, we would have got under there and looked at something. We would have tried to figure out what was making the noise. It acted like every other bucket truck I've ever been in, or any other digger derrick or anything else I've worked on. So it also looks like the front of the pump is leaking. So I do have a kit with a brand new shaft, all the seals for the pump. Oh, sorry, you're probably looking at the wall. I've got a kit that's got brand new shaft, all the seals, new front bearing, and shims. I'm a little worried that hurt that front bearing when it broke, although everything seems real good and tight. So I will be videoing that, so that'll be coming up. So that's gotten us to where we're at right now. So I'll stop this video here short, and we'll go from there. We'll add into the update. It's getting kind of dark, but and this is what we got done. This is most of the tree. The top of big fork tree I'll show you here in a second. We were just about ready to cut these two main forks and lay them down in the yard here. We also trimmed a bunch on this hedge, hackberry tree, whatever you want to call them. We'd actually backed the truck around the garage and had it set up right here. We worked it from the driveway side in front of the garage. We worked it from sort of this corner just behind this little shed, and then we still couldn't get enough reach. We're still too far away to get everything, so we were able to back up and set up right here. And we were working these two big sticks. You can see the rope still hanging there. We were fixing to cut and drop them, and I apologize, I did not get any video of that. We were really feeling the truck out, and a new saw we had bought, and it was last weekend. It was a really good weekend, so we're trying to just blitz everything we could before the weather turned nasty. We're gonna rig that rope to a tractor sitting about right, almost short of that wagon. Dad was gonna be in the bucket, cut it from the backside, and I was gonna pull it that way and just break it over. That ensures it goes exactly where we want it. But it cut out with Dad about 30 foot off the ground, and I saw the drive shaft laying out under the truck there when I walked up to the truck to see what was wrong. So he had to rappel out of the bucket. The buckets do have an emergency bucket trucks have an emergency lowering system on most of them. That one is actually an optional attachment, but they did have that attachment. So it's a little electric hydraulic pump. The only problem is when you break the main PTO shaft, I don't know if it's factory that way or not on that truck, but on that truck you got an electric pump, and then you got your main PTO pump. There's no check valve in between them. There must be a check valve from the main pump, because the main pump does not spin the electric pump backwards. But the little electric pump, when there's no shaft connected to the PTO, when that thing starts turning, it actually started spinning the main pump backwards because there was no shaft connecting it. So all it was doing was feeding pressure down the pressure line of the main pump and back up to tank. So the emergency system did not work. So we had to plumb around that actually and cap off that pressure line from the pump, and then we were able to lower the bucket, get it racked back up, and get it out of the yard. So that'll be all the update we have on the bucket truck for now. If you guys enjoyed the video, there will be more to come. I will get some video of us up using the truck. So